Hello again, YouTube! This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited, the object editor commentaries. I create your favorite characters in movies, gaming, TV, nerd, and geek culture kind of related items, and whatever is most requested, most popular each week is what I create. So here we go. We're gonna start off with Bunyip as a source object. You don't want to start off with a wolf, which is probably going to be a lot of people's inclination here, because today's object that we're creating is Wolf Link. And so, the Bunyip, the main reason is, of course, just for the shape of this body right here. I wish that it didn't have all these little spots and stuff kind of there near the rear, but we're just going to get past that with a few design choices and things, but there may be a little bit of that peeking out in our final design. We'll see. So we're using a lot of kind of grayish to almost black patterns in our color palette right here today, but you can see that, you know, right now I've taken the back leg off, the front back leg, I guess I should specify. This was for multiple reasons, but it's more so that I wanted something a little bit thinner. You know, the Bunyip's back kind of thigh or hip piece was really wide and stuff, and so I wanted this one that's a little bit thinner and taller, and we are still going to shrink that down. This is from a horse, same kind of piece, which is the front rear legs, the thigh, I guess, of the horse. And so then we'll replace that Bunyip foot, because taking off the thigh piece did remove the foot right there, that back foot that I'm now kind of retouching and putting back in. So there we go, and hopefully you noticed we also took off the third tail piece, so the very farthest tail piece, and so we will use a wolf in this case for the head, so just for the head right here. And the main reason, of course, you don't use the wolf as the source object is, for one, you can't change the tail on the wolf, so you know, it's like it would be standing straight up like that, but also the body, the legs, the things just are not the right shape if you want to make it really detailed and accurate, I would say. But by all means, use the wolf if that's what you are going to use. You know, nobody's right or wrong in creating. We all just create in our own ways. But if you're going by my design, this is what we're doing. After putting down the wolf's head, we did take the back arm of a shambler, put that sort of here on the top. This is going to be sort of for the colorful design, I guess, on his back of fur. There's dark fur and there's light fur. And then there's even, like, if you want to get really specific, there is like yellowish looking fur and greenish looking fur, sort of hints of those kind of colors, undertones, and whatnot. Getting those in Scribblenauts would probably just look like a jumbled mess, except for doing it the way that I'm gonna show you. So we'll see that in a second. I've taken a fish, the front fin right there down at the bottom. That's gonna be for the eye. We just painted it bleach white, basically, for the Wolf Link's main part of the eye. The colored part of the eye is gonna be a pearl, kind of color it dark bluish, or just a regular blue. And so I'm gonna use something that I haven't used in this series yet, a crinoid. So crinoids are basically marine animals. They, like sea lilies, you know, those refer to crinoids, feather stars, interesting little beings. But in this game, of course, they look sort of like a coral almost, and you can see that we're just basically placing 3 crinoid pieces here in the back. That's going to go behind the main part of the wolf's head, and going to be for some of the additional hairs, especially the darker colored hairs on Wolf Link. And then we'll type in a BB, you know, like a BB from a BB gun, and that's going to be for the main black part of his eye, you know, the pupil right there. We'll put that in. There we go. And of course, a pimple. A pimple is going to be for the white kind of glimmer or glisten in the eye right there. And it'll also kind of show a direction that our Wolf Link is looking up. If you guys either request for me to make Midna, or if somebody else is making Midna in their game, you can put her behind your Wolf Link and he'll be kind of looking up at her, I guess you could say. And so hopefully you notice now we've taken the 4th page of the 29-page library. There's an arm there in the bottom right corner. We've taken that arm. And then now on the 20th page, in a similar spot, there's another arm that we're going to be using from the 29-page library. In Scribblenauts Unmasked, you can get these things by typing in any character that has a back arm that is just one solid color. Rima might be a good choice, a hula dancer female, etc., etc. Taking the very tail end of a death worm, now we're going to use this sort of like some design and stuff, because on Wolf Link's forehead, kind of from the tip of the snout and in between the eyes, you know, you can see a pattern on Wolf Link, and so this is just going to sort of be that pattern like we're looking at it from the side. So obviously the real pattern has a lot of twirls and twists to it and things like that, but since we're looking at it kind of from a side view, this is, you know, actually a completely side view of our Wolf Link. You can accomplish that same sort of look with the tail end of that death worm. Again, use whatever stamp you want to if you want to choose something different. But going back with that same arm from the 4th page of the 29-page library. That's going to be the base of the tail, and then we're also going to use an ivory for the second part of the tail. So make sure that you place these on the actual bunyip's tail. Since it's divided up into 3 parts, place the base tail piece accordingly with that base tail on the bunyip. And then, of course, place where the middle bunyip tail is, put the ivory down there. And so then I've just typed in cesium. It's pronounced that way, but it's spelled like caesium, it might look like to you. But cesium is a chemical element, kind of a soft silvery gold alkali metal, atomic number 55. Okay, anyway, that's going to be sort of the base of the shackle, I guess the main part of the shackles right here for Wolf Link, because as you guys know, Wolf Link does have the shackle and it's on the left front leg. Now this is going to be, I guess, slightly controversial in Scribblenauts, or whatever the word is. It's going to be slightly different. Now you guys can see that it is on the left leg here when Wolf Link is facing the way that he is right now. But in Scribblenauts, when your character goes the other way, which in this case he'll be moving to the left, well, when that happens, basically in Scribblenauts they just mirror the image. So in that case, Wolf Link would actually be having the shackle then on his right leg. But unfortunately, that's something that we can't change. It's like, for instance, on Five Nights at Freddy's when I created Foxy, some people saw that his arm, the hook arm, would change depending on which way he was facing. And that's just a part of Scribblenauts Unlimited again. But here we go. We're in the properties editor, and whenever you're doing kind of scripting and properties and whatnot, there's not a lot of action on screen, so I take this chance to read background information and fun facts about whatever we're creating in this series. So, for The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess's Wolf Link, that would be an alternate form of Link whom we get to play as when he enters an area shrouded in twilight. In his wolf form, Link is unable to use items and has less defense, but he gains enhanced senses and the ability to speak to other animals. Midna can also ride on his back in this form and is even visible in Wolf Link's shadow whether she's on his back or not. Other than Twilight Princess, Wolf Link has made a few outside appearances, like in Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Smash Bros. For Wii U, and also in Hyrule Warriors, as Midna is a playable character. You guys, while I really wish I could say I played and loved Twilight Princess, I can't because I haven't fully played the game. The odd thing is, I got it for the Wii on the day that the Wii came out. I was second in line actually at GameStop during the midnight opening for the Wii, but yes, I had also pre-ordered Zelda Twilight Princess and Marvel Ultimate Alliance with my Wii pre-order, and somehow I just never got enough time to fully get involved with Twilight Princess, and maybe now that the HD remake is here with the Wolf Link amiibo, perhaps I should investigate. But let's face it, we all know how that goes with me and how I have no time, ever. But hopefully you noticed after the scripting and whatnot, some last touches, I guess, to our Wolf Link is one is we've got 2 pieces of hair, so just type in hair, do it twice, that'll be for the back legs, put it on the actual legs, not the thigh or hip pieces, and then I also used an eyebrow for the earring, so you can see that hopefully, the blue earring there on Wolf Link's ear, and a fang for the other one, just because it has the shape, I guess, to put in the back. I could fit the fang back there and make it look like the earring in the back from this visibility standpoint where we're at. But anyway, you guys can see now we're on the level. We've got our Wolf Link, and then I have a smaller Wolf Link with different colors and a few less details and things in case you want to add details in other places. You could go with that design, but this bigger one here is the design that I've shown you through my creation, and to me is the one that I want to go with. So we will now put down an evil monster and see how our Wolf Link handles it, which basically it did it with no problem. So we'll do an evil strong monster then this time and put that down, and it looks like, well, there is a little bit more resistance. I think our Wolf Link is going to come out on top, so that's pretty awesome, and I'm holding on to my the Master Sword that I created. This was a long time ago. I feel like I might create it differently, just in slight ways, but that is the Master Sword of old that I made. And yes, there is a Master Sword in this game because I play on Wii U. I made my own. There's no problem with that. And so I did put down this powerful beast, but I forgot they're not going to attack each other right now unless I put on hostile, because I guess the beast and the bunyip will not attack each other normally. And so this all looks good. Looks like our Wolf Link operates really in the way that I want him to. And so, as always, you guys are the greatest community. Just be sure to remember that every week I create whatever is most popular and most requested. So that means as you guys are suggesting items for me to create, each week the voting resets and I tally only what is on the Scribblenauts creation episodes. So not in live streams, not on any other episode in the world, just on these Scribblenauts episodes. Those are the only votes that will be counted, and it's for organizational purposes mostly. So nothing on Facebook, nothing on Twitter, Miiverse, none of that works for item requests. And so I'm sure most of you know Valentine's Day is going to be next Sunday, so hopefully the suggestions that come from you guys are sort of Valentine's Day or love themed. Maybe that would be cool if we created some characters that would, I guess, fit into that motif You don't have to, but I mean, that would be pretty cool, I think. So let's see. Live streams every Monday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget to check out dkcgaming.com. So I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no return, to the rest of our lives as the spectacle begins. I've been down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no